Hello, everyone. Welcome to Meatless Kitchen and Market, where we cook fresh and clean. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Sally Way. Welcome to the season of Halloween. Today, we are going to cook some potion. No, not really. I'm not using any livestock or anyone's hands or feet or brain to cook this, but we're going to have something new for you. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to try not to fake my witch voice. So this week I got some more pumpkins that I'm not so familiar with their taste, or I never bought it before. Now, first one I want to introduce to you is wow, this. It's actually the smallest Cinderella pumpkin. Cinderella, we all know the story, right? Because Cinderella has to ride on the pumpkin carriage in order to meet her dream husband. So here's the Cinderella. It's a bright orange, very, very beautiful. I hope my lighting does not screw you up, but it's the round shape and it will turn into a carriage for Cinderella. So this is huge. I'm still thinking how I'm going to eat it and then cook it. Okay. Now the next one, it's very easy. It's not the regular color of a pumpkin that you know. It's a white pumpkin. White pumpkin. I think my lighting right here is not really perfect, but it's white pumpkin. I'm really curious what's the color inside, but I will let you know next time, okay? Because it's another one. Look at my face. This is my face. Look how big this one is. Yo, I think these two pumpkins can feed an army. Okay, now the next one that we're actually quite familiar with, it's the Kabocha. Last week I have a Kabocha green, but this week I got a Kabocha. It's also bright, very similar color to Cinderella pumpkin. And the texture is very similar to the green one, which we're going to taste today for you. So now it's time to taste the pumpkins. Here we go. I'm going to get the pumpkin here and I want to show you. I have cooked them in the oven. So these are the four pumpkins that we have from last week. You see that? I cooked them. I put them in the oven. This one is the tiny little one. Remember what it's called? It's called Jack Belittle. Okay, so I roasted in 325, or if you think your oven is a little bit weaker, you can cook 350. And I cook about 40 minutes. So it's perfectly roasted. You don't want to burn it either. And remember this? This is a sugar pie pumpkin, right? I roasted it just a little bit longer than the B Jack Little. So it's about 50 minutes. And these two, remember this one? The color changed a little bit, not as white. It becomes a little bit light brown. This is the Fairytale Pumpkin. I don't know what it tastes like. This is the one I'm not familiar with. Oh, and this one is the one we know. This is the green Kabocha. This tastes just fantastic. The texture is very similar to sweet potatoes. Okay, this one. Okay, now let's cut it open. The other day I tried this one. I just fell in love with the Jack Belittle. The texture, let me open it for you. You see inside. So it's very important that you actually know what pumpkins you're getting, right? You don't want to buy a pumpkin and you don't really like the texture. So inside's like this. You can see. And they have seeds all around. You can scoop it out, or I just chew on it and then spit out the skin. It's still quite tasty, just like the pumpkin seeds. And the texture itself over here, the meat here, the flesh over here, very, very creamy and sweet. I strongly suggest you to try this, to roast it, your family, and you will like it. You can just eat it, scoop it out like a little dessert. Let's see, like this. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, here's our Jack Be Little. Now, this what is called sugar pie because it's been used to make pumpkin pie. And the inside it looks like this. It's all very similar, actually. Okay, how do I know they're cooked? See the mark over here? I use a fork to poke it. If you can poke easily through, that means it's cooked. So it's very similar. Um, Personally, I'm not super a big fan of a sugar pie. I think it's really more suitable. It's a little bit mushy, and it's actually the texture. I personally like sweet potato very much, so this one is a little bit tough for me. And you know what? There's not much flavor. It's not very sweet. So I think it's good that we use it to make a pumpkin pie because you add spices and sugar. Now I'm really excited about this one. This is the fairy tale. Let's see. It's kind of big. So I'm going to cut it. Wow. Well, it looks like it's also yellow flesh and inside has very orange side. I don't know if you can see. It has very orange, kind of like this part with the seeds. So let me taste it for you. Let's see. Oh, it's also very creamy, very soft. See the texture? It's a little bit like a spaghetti squash. So it has some kind of strips in there. The texture is a little bit different than not as creamy as the Jack Be Little. Mm. Mm, quite sweet. This one is good. This one's good as a dessert. If you want a very natural dessert, ooh, this one is perfect. Very, very sweet. Okay, now let's look at this one. This one is the green kabocha. This has been my favorite. Let's see. Ooh, it's very, very orangey. From my side, probably from my video, it doesn't show as well. But out of all these four, this is the most orange color. Can you believe outside is green, but inside is very, very pumpkin-like? I told you that I love the texture, and I use this a lot. Very much like sweet potatoes. Hmm. Mm. I would say this texture is number one, but it's not as sweet. So if you like a natural sweet pumpkin without cooking or without any sugar, I would recommend Fairytale or Jack Be Little. Okay, here's enough for our pumpkin display. I'm going to put it away. Now we're going to go on. At least we have to make some kind of a cake for the pumpkin, right? So I actually use the canned pumpkin because it's really very convenient. And don't think it's not natural. I think it's pretty natural. So right here, I have all the ingredients down below and below the video. So if you feel like making your cupcake or cake, this recipe can be used for cupcake or cake. So I actually made a cake earlier, but now I'm going to show you. I'm going to put it on my cupcake mold. So I have sugar and 2 cups of flour right here. My habit to make a vegan cake, if you want to, you always get into the habit you want to mix your dry ingredient thoroughly before you add your wet ingredient. So right here, I have salt, baking soda, and baking powder. Mix well. Then we're ready for our wet ingredient. So right here, oh, of course, you got to preheat your oven to 350. Okay, I have preheated my oven. So right here, I have pumpkin down below, canned pumpkin, 1 cup. Then I have some coconut milk, and I have some very light what's that? Olive oil. Whoa. All of a sudden, I want to say canola oil, but today I use olive oil, which is very healthy for you. So these are the wet ingredient plus these are organic apple cider vinegar and pure pure vanilla extract. So there are five wet ingredients. This has to be last. So let's do this. Again, I'm going to mix a little bit just to make sure the easier to mix later. Okay. All right. Going down. Look at that beautiful orange color. After all, it's Halloween, once a year. Regardless, you're adult or not. No, I should say if you're a kid or not. Everyone should enjoy Halloween. Okay. I enjoy it, but I don't really dress up because I'm too embarrassed. But I always like to make pumpkin cake. I saved my pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving, which is coming up. When you mix the cake, you don't want to over mix it. Gentle, but with one direction, because if you over mix it, then the gluten will come out and your cake will taste rubbery. Almost done. Very, very simple. Here we go. We have a little orange of batter. Then what I'm going to do is to scoop into my cupcake mold. There we go. I'm just going to fill one for you, and I'll do the rest later. What you want to scoop, this one is about 12. You can make about 12. And because I have some decoration, I have also given you the recipe for buttercream decoration. So what you want to do is you probably don't want to fill up very much, about 80% of your cup. So when they rise up, they're not rising up too much. Or if you think you want to make it this slower, if you have a lot of buttercream, that you want to just fill in about 70%. So when they rise up, they're not being too tall. But of course, if you don't want to use any decoration, then I'll recommend you to fill it up to about 90%. So then you have a nice little mountain over there. That's a nice looking cupcake. And we'll do this later. After we fill this, we will put it into 350 oven, bake for about 12 to 15 minutes. You know, it really depends, but I want you to try with a little of, like I have this thing like this. This is actually for people cook turkey. They used to test the turkey if it's done, but I used to test my cake. If you pull in to the center of the cake and it comes out clean, then it's done. If you poke it and it comes out still have kind of liquid to stick to your stick, then it's not done yet. Cook a little more, okay? Be always attentive to your baking. Now that's decorate our cake. I have the buttercream that I've shown you. So it's kind of orangey. I think my lighting right here, I'm right underneath a skylight, so it's kind of bright. But I did make a buttercream that with some, a little bit, about quarter cup of the pumpkin puree. So it's a little bit light orange-like, but doesn't satisfy me yet. I would like to make this black blast. So I have some sprinkles, which is black. Ta-da! Ooh, la-ta-da! I don't know if you can see, but I will take a photo for you. This is a perfect for a wedge, which I'm dressed up for. Okay, that's good enough. Then I have a little bit of orange sprinkles put on top. That will be perfect for Halloween. There we go. So here I have the pumpkin cupcake or cake to you. Let me see. I'll take a photo and put it underneath. Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming. Don't forget that you need to subscribe to our channel and then also ring the bell. Make sure you click on the bell so you'll be notified for every new episode. And I want to thank you for coming today. I'm Sally Way. Happy Halloween! Bye.